Hi and welcome back to an Astro update with me, Vanessa Montgomery for Astro All-Starz here at the sunny Gold Coast. And today I'm going to talk about your Astro Superpower. And this is, I guess, what you could look at as your blessing or your curse. Each sign has certain traits and best utilized as a strength. In the wrong sense, it's definitely a curse. So for instance, water signs, they need connection, and at any rate they'll get that connection. So this could be a superpower. It's something they need in their lives, and for a good example would be, as a psychologist, you're connecting deeply with people and getting paid for it, so that becomes your superpower. It gets to be developed, it gets to be appreciated, rather than not having an outlet for that and perhaps coming across as needy in areas where it's inappropriate. So let's start with Aries. So Aries is a fire sign. They're very dynamic, they're immediate, and they like to get things done. So of course their superpower is just go at it, get it done, do it now. Just do it. The Nike slogan is pretty much the Aries slogan as well. It may as well be. And in the wrong place, that blessing superpower becomes a curse. And areas where that would be a curse would be places where you really do need to tread on eggshells, where you have to really be aware of everyone and everything else, be very careful, perhaps wait for someone else to lead or take control. In that case, in Aries would be like a bull in a china shop. It wouldn't work for them, and it wouldn't work for anyone else. So, but when it comes to taking charge, forging ahead, anything where you need to be unafraid. So the army is very Aries, you know, there's just run into battle, fearless, you know, you might get killed, but there's something in it for Aries that they love, just charge ahead, it's exhilarating. So Taurus, a superpower is definitely endurance. They're a fixed sign, a fixed earth sign. They endure, they get things done. So that's a strength. The weakness of that is they're like a locomotive, and if there's something on the track, that train's not going to stop. It can't stop. So once they get going, they don't like to switch track, they don't like change, they just want to keep that pace up and, you know, get to the station. So if they were in say a job where there was a lot of change, a lot of unknown, a lot of turning on a dime, that's superpower. Immediate weakness, you know, they'd be stressed out, they'd be stressing everyone else out, and that's a locomotive in a china shop. So yeah, superpower is definitely that endurance. There's a strength and sensuality as well that's really beautiful, and so fields for them would be, you know, anything to do with luxury, beauty, perfume, anything of quality and luxury. Gemini, now this is where turning on a dime is a superpower. Gemini is versatility incarnate, and that wonderful superpower would be a weakness if they were required to do something like which is a Taurus superpower, which is something that requires just maintaining this endurance over a long term. They'd burn out and they'd become bored and do a terrible job and be unhappy, and everyone else would be unhappy too. So they require a lot of stimulation. They're connectors. If they're in, like, media is a great example, internet, if you ever have anyone doing your online presence, get a Gemini, that'd be fantastic. Virgo would probably be pretty good too, and Sag, but the Gemini would love it, they'd be stimulated by it, and therefore they do a great job for you. What's next? Cancer. So Cancer's superpower as a water sign is, here we go with the connecting again. In a different way to say Pisces or Scorpio, Cancer's very home oriented. So anything they approach, they treat it like family. A really great example of that would be Richard Branson of the Virgin Empire. That empire is massive, but he treats it like a family and he really cares. So he has that high touch approach that filters down from the top to everything, and has pretty much been one of the keys to his successes. So that wonderful superpower caring, connecting, all these little chickens. And also, I must say, treating the customer like family. And that superpower would be a curse if they were somewhere that there was no caring, that was very harsh, where there was nothing personal about it, no connection. So they're very people oriented. If they can be around a certain group and develop that part of it, the connection part, that's great for them. So that's the blessing and the curse there. There's more, but that's a pretty classic one. What's next? Leo. I think we all know Leo's superpower, and that's self-expression. Think of Madonna. They can express themselves, and with pride. There's no shame about it. There's no holding back. If they are blocked with that, that's a big problem for them. The curse of it would be, of course, if that bold, loud, it's all about me, is in the wrong place at the wrong time. Think of Madonna going off somewhere where, it's better to be quiet. She probably wouldn't go well in a library full time because she needs attention, and Leos love to give attention. They love to applaud other people's creativity too. So somewhere where they can be stimulated by that and stimulate as well would work best for them to make the most of that superpower rather than turn it into a curse. A Virgo is next off the line. So Virgo's superpower is definitely one of detail, analytical, very organised. It's an earth sign but ruled by Mercury, so they're thinking all the time. Also very versatile like Geminis, but not quite as versatile. They still like to know what's happening, whereas Gemini, they don't need to know. They'll deal with it when they come to it. So Virgo's superpower would become a curse if they're in an area where really they don't know what's going on. It's chaos, it's messy, they'd lose it, everyone else would lose it, it'd be a nightmare for everyone. So somewhere where they can have a bit of control and organise everything, so basically make order out of chaos, and that is their absolute superpower. They get things done. I remember one of my favourite astrology teachers, Stella Starwoman, she always said she only hires Virgos, and I think she knows her astrology, so that's a good reason for that. They get things done and there's no ego, they just do the job and they're happy to do what you want. What's next up? Next cab off the rank is Libra. So Libra's superpower as an air sign, which is mental, communicating, is connecting on an intellectual level, one-on-one. So the superpower is relating one-on-one. They are great in a team of two. Couples, power couples, fantastic. A Libra's curse in that case would be to be completely alone, have no one to bounce things off, and not be able to just share ideas and communicate with people. Not a happy Libra at all. Give them a good team or someone to work with, they just love that. Next cab off the rank, Scorpio. So Scorpio is the second of the water signs. So again, we're going to come back to that theme of connection. They need connection. They need to connect emotionally with people and to know that you're feeling them and they can connect in with you. That makes them feel safe and secure, and they know you've got their back, and believe me, they've got yours. So that's their superpower. Without that connection and that feeling of trust and loyalty, they don't feel safe, and it's not a superpower because they become insecure, become a little paranoid, I suppose. They can't relax and use their strength as a strength. It becomes a weakness. So superpower, definitely connecting in with people. Again, psychology is a fantastic area for Scorpios. And the fact that they are driven to transform, they can share that drive and that path with others that also need that skill. And of course, all my favourite Scorpios are pretty heavily into looking at life through, I guess, the depth and a psychological point of view, if not occult. Next cab off the rank, Sagittarius. So we go from the deep depths up into the heights, and Sagittarius' superpower as a fire sign is definitely movement, inspiration, They're a great cheerleader. They love to see others do well. They love to do well too. They're competitive, but they want you to run with them. You know, it's like the Brumby in the herd. You'll run together and you get a lot further. Just waiting for a friend, so I keep checking if she's coming along. Beach day. Yes, so Sagittarius, very, very motivating. They make fantastic coaches, fantastic. Also rules media and international travel. It's very expansive and also studious because it's expanding awareness. So the downside of that superpower would be cheering you on when you're perfectly fine, like leave me alone, I'm busy. They'll be on the sidelines still trying to cheer you and motivate you and give you advice and carry on like a pork chop. They've always got something to say. It's might be more truth than you're interested in, but if you want the truth, go to them. Again, another superpower, absolute honesty, integrity with that honesty, but not everyone wants that, and that's when it's definitely a curse for everyone involved. So next we have Capricorn, the final earth sign. So we've got the material world, mastering the material world, big business, and their superpower would definitely be making cogs turn in the got people walking past laughing at me talking to you, just us here today. Yeah, so big business, making cogs turn. They are like the Rockefellers. Their superpower is definitely knowing how the world works and working it on. And probably the downside of their superpower is being, I guess, when being too much of a realist and a pragmatist is not welcome. Sometimes you do need that faith and that optimism, and sometimes Capricorn can get a bit pessimistic and negative, which actually again is part of their superpower because they're really realistic, and when reality slaps them down, they just get up because they expected it anyway. They just see that as a part of the road with all of its challenges. Next cab off the rank, Aquarius. They're an air sign, so the communication, intellectual side comes in with that, as with all air signs. They are quirky and they want to do it their way, and that is their superpower. They can often be way ahead of everyone else, so they can be viewed as crazy, and that's when that superpower becomes a curse. They might be misunderstood or a bit of an outsider because they're ahead of the pack and they're not identifying with trying to fit in and make themselves like the rest. They are absolutely not sheep. So there's a superpower and the curse with the Aquarians. They're also group oriented, so that's another big gift and a curse. They're not so much about the individual and the self. They might not really care about very personal details like a Cancer would care. They are seeing the bigger picture, and therefore they're often at the forefront of humanitarian areas. So that blessing's a curse when it comes down to a personal level, where they may not really know how to develop that for themselves or be interested at all, which other people might not understand. So next we have the final sign, Pisces, which I'm meeting soon if she shows up, because that's a classic Pisces trait. Where are they? I don't know. Coming soon maybe, not on time. So Pisces, they are a water sign, so again we have connection. Absolutely need to connect, and my friend that's coming is a classic example. It is an absolute superpower, and she has made the absolute most of it. So she's a psychologist and she connects with people daily on a deep level, very personal, very intimate, and gets to help them and gets paid for it as well. So she's been smart about it. The curse of the Pisces is definitely if they don't get that connection or don't know how to channel it in a way that they get paid for it, they enjoy it, everyone else gets the most out of it, and then they come across as needy. Also, if they're not really getting that connection, as well as that, you know, a very spiritual, transcendent place they like to go to, a classic component of Pisces-ness is escapism, drugs, alcohol, television, you name it. There's an escapist side, but it's really just looking for a transcendence from normal mundane reality. So right there you can see the blessing and the curse. If they were in a spiritual field, they do make excellent, whatever the religion, they're fantastic usually, and it becomes an absolute superpower. I suppose, the curse of that would be probably somewhere again where it's very uncaring and harsh and an ugly reality, although they could also be the one that really helps others in that situation if they could deal with that harsh reality. So there you have it. What's your sign and what do you see as your superpower? And can you see where that's a blessing and a curse, and how you've perhaps taken it and got it onto a track that works for you as well as everyone else in the world, basically making it serve as a service, serve others? And can you see where perhaps it's not serving, and ways that you could turn it around a bit and make it really work for you? Just, being truthful about it all and acknowledge that and take it to a high level. Let me know in the comments or come over to my Facebook page and let's continue discussion, because this is how I learn as well, by interacting with you and learning from your actual experience. It all gets catalogued and filed in my brain, my astro brain. I can never remember names, but I can remember everything about the astro. So I would love to know. Please fill me in, and I'll see you next time. Oh, before I go, the last upload, yes, moving, 5 planets retrograde, not moving for another week. They've decided to build us a new deck. Awesome! So we'll see how that goes. Also, with all the retrograding, any backward motion for you guys, let me know. Bye for now. And here she comes, the elusive Pisces. Mysterious finally appears on the scene. Hi, Cherry.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
No problem. So hi, Cherry, you made it.
Hi, how you going?
Good, great to see you.
Nice to see you too.
So I've already introduced you and talked about your superpower, which is connection as a Pisces.
Yeah.
So tell me about how that's been a blessing and a curse for you, and how you've really banked on it and used it to its full potential to support you and other people.
So in terms of it being a curse, I'll start with the negative. It does render one quite vulnerable because of that desire to be really close with people and to feel that deep connection. I think is foreign to a lot of people, so they find it maybe a bit intense, a little bit confronting the way I like to engage. Friends that know me over years probably enjoy that most about my personality, but getting to know someone, it can be a bit of a hurdle. So it can make me then feel very insecure if I feel like I'm not bonding the way I want to, or and am trying to with others. In terms of it being a strength, which mostly I do identify it as, my work, for example, as a psychologist, allows me to connect very deeply with people. That's, I guess, one of the most strongest attributes a person needs to be successful in the field, and it also makes the work very meaningful for me naturally. I don't have to strive to find purpose in my job. I naturally love it because it engages on that level that I find most appealing.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
And what about as a Sagittarius? You've known me for a really, really long time. And what would you say is the two sides of my superpower as a Sagittarius? I guess being a jack of all trades,
yes,
is one, and the motivational cheerleader type.
Certainly in terms of our friendship, I've absolutely loved sharing ideas with you, because I know almost any idea I have, you've got an opinion on it, you're usually very enthusiastic about it, and you contribute wholeheartedly to whatever the topic is. So people desire being around you for that reason, and there's no downside from my perspective. In terms of how your life might play out, the downside would definitely be not having traction around it, because you have such great ideas and can inspire others. It sometimes means maybe you neglect your own opportunities for success because you're indulging other people's pursuits and allowing them to become inspired and creative.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
There you go. Bye now.
Bye.